executing the vision through career development. I think it, I can be it. Let me extend a warm welcome to our students, teachers, principal, Mrs. Mitchell, guidance counselors, and parents. Welcome. It is indeed a pleasure to have you join us on this virtual space. Now, we are going to go into a program now where we will have a video presentation. So I'm going to ask you, boys and girls, you have been doing very well to keep your mic muted. Thank you. Mrs. Walters?
Yes, go ahead, Miss Scott. Scott is going to share the video.
Okay. Okay, there you have it. The different type of workers, boys and girls, and it is very important that you, when you set your goals in life, you have many opportunities to choose from. And when you set your goals, whatever it is that you want to be, it is important that you work hard. Be the best that you can be in life. Go for it. Whatever you choose, make sure that it is something that you like, you want to do, and work hard to achieve your goal. Strive for excellence. What you're going to do? Open your mic and say that for me. Strive for excellence. Say that. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Miss, try for excellence.
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
miss.
All right.
Strive for excellence.
Yes.
Strive for excellence.
Strive for excellence.
Thank
Strive
you.
for excellence.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Strive for excellence at all times. Be the best that you can be. All right. Now we are going to have our first speaker for today. We are going to ask Carissa, Carissa Bernard to introduce our first speaker for today. Carissa Bernard.
Good morning, Anchovy Primary School students.
Good
And today
morning.
I'll be introducing you to Miss Deborah Jane. Miss Deborah Dawes. Miss Deborah Dawes is a past student of the Manning School and is now a student of the University of the West Indies, where she is pursuing a bachelor's degree in nursing. Please help me to welcome Miss Dawes.
Thank you, sweetheart. That was a very lovely introduction. I feel honored. Good morning, principal, teachers, counselors, parents, and most welcome to the students. Yeah, guys. All right. As you may know, as she just said, my name is Deborah Dawes. She gave my past school, which is Manning's, and I am a third-year student at the University of the West Indies, and I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree in nursing. Many people may ask why nursing. Well, I think it's a passion. You know, they say you have to love what you do so you can do it to the best. And I think, I know I genuinely love nursing. As a child, my aunt was a nurse and she was my favorite person at the time. So I really wanted to be like her. But growing up, I've realized that whatever you do, you have to love it. You have to have a passion for it so you can do it to the best of your ability. So even today, while hearing the theme, which is executing the vision through career development, and you have to affirm to yourself, I think it, I can be it. And that is so true. You shouldn't limit yourself in life as to what you can achieve, because once you believe it and you go for it, you will achieve it. Requirements for nursing. You know that you're not hearing me? Really? Come on, mic on. Is
We
anyone
are
here?
hearing you. We are
Oh, you
hearing you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. All right. You're wondering what are the requirements to enter nursing school? Well, you'd have to have at least 5 CXC subjects, and within the 5, I think English language, mathematics, and 2 science, maybe chemistry, biology, and physics. And you also need 2 units of CAPE in either mathematics, biology, or chemistry. As it requires that, you know, you guys are in primary school still, but you need to have a goal just the same. At this point in time, you may not know what you want to do in life or not certain because you haven't experienced it, but you need to have a plan at mind. So if it's a case that you're unsure while entering high school, you try your best in every course, and through that you understand what you love, what you can handle, and what you have to handle. um I believe in vision boards. I'm not sure if you guys are aware what that is yet. You basically create a plan for yourself for a year, 5 years, a month, so on. So many kids at your age want to be doctors, teachers, nurses. Some may want to be firefighters, even farmers. With that, you have to have a goal. You guys have the internet at your disposal right now, so you can go online and view the requirements of a farmer. You want to do it at a large stake, you can view the requirements of it, requirements of a teacher, and then you work towards that goal, because once you believe it, you can achieve it. And you have to believe that with God, all things are possible. So many people may say, no, man, don't do that. Like for me, growing up, many people told me nurses don't make money. And it wasn't whatever for me, because I wanted to be a nurse, and I am determined to be a nurse through hell, high water, with Christ as my comforter. So I leave to you today. Do what you love and love what you do. And affirm to yourself, if you think it, you can be it, and you will be it. Any questions? Anything you'd like to ask?
No.
No? Okay, well, no questions? I really hope you guys have asked me questions, like how is nursing with COVID or anything like that. No?
Oh yes, miss. Yes, miss. How is nursing with COVID? Is it hard, miss, or anything?
Not necessarily, to be honest. The same rules that you'd follow in everyday life, wear mask, sanitize, social distance, it'd be the same. All COVID patients who have been diagnosed are within a specific region, so you're not exposed to it as regular things. So it's really normal, it's basic. And once you have the dream, nothing can hinder, not even COVID, because there are many other diseases out there, but you just have to protect yourself and know that everything will be fine. But yeah, that's it.
And
Miss,
miss, why do
Yeah,
they have to burn the bodies when they die from it, miss? Why do they have to burn the bodies?
to my knowledge, they don't burn the bodies.
they give it
But
to
miss,
nursing.
that's what I heard.
No,
Yes, Miss, are true.
some bodies are given for research, and that's by choice, so they could
Research.
look into disease further.
Okay, miss, they're
And
trying to research to make a vaccine or something.
yes, which they
Miss,
have came up with a few, but that was the initial response. Bodies are buried. Burning is by choice. So yeah.
Miss,
Yes.
Miss, Miss.
I don't know who's speaking, but I'm answering you.
Excuse me, Miss. If the patient have COVID, teacher, how much employee take to recover from COVID, teacher?
How many employees take to recover, or how long?
Yes, teacher.
Oh, the incubation period, or the period that they would have it, would be for 14 days. Well, that's the span that the Ministry of Health has provided. However, they will just be kept in isolation until all symptoms are past. And when they do another test and they no longer have the illness, then they're free to do as they please or leave. Because it's not necessary, I can't put a time span on it, because everybody reacts to illnesses differently. So for me, I could even get over it in 5 days. Someone may take a month, 2 weeks, some may even lose their life because of the ailment. So I can't put a time span for it. Yeah.
Excuse me, Miss.
Miss,
Yes.
Teacher, you
Miss,
said that you.
Students, we would prefer if you raise your hands. That way Miss Dawes can take you based on whose hands are risen. All right, so that more than one person will not be speaking at the same time. All right, so the hands are being raised. Miss Scott, if you could assist, and Miss Simit with the hands. I think Jesse is first based on my order. Go ahead, Jesse.
Timmy,
Yes,
if you work in the COVID region, as you said, at any time do you get to take off the protective gear at any time?
all right, Jesse. My answer for you is, well, as a student, I wouldn't work there, but for nurses who do, they follow the regular protocol and they don't take it off at a given time. If you are on the street, Jesse, I'd hope that you keep on your mask while being on the road, and sanitize is the same, because the ailment isn't one that we can see with the naked eye. So regardless if you're on a COVID ward, if you're on a regular medical ward, you are still required to maintain your PPE, social distancing just the same, sanitize, and keep it moving.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Jesse.
Praise Marie, go ahead.
Miss, is it a must for you to take the COVID-19 vaccine before you actually work on patients?
Currently, it is not a must, and I don't think it'll be a must, because based upon what the ministry is saying, they're saying that it'll be done by choice. So you have a choice whether you should take the vaccine, yes or no. So it's not mandatory.
Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome, Praise Marie.
Kaden, go ahead.
Yes. What inspired you to be a nurse?
What inspired me to be a nurse? Was that the question?
Yes, I think that's what it's asking. What inspired
Yes,
you to be a
teacher.
nurse?
Okay, well, as I mentioned before, my aunt is a nurse.
Yes.
Okay. My aunt is a registered nurse and midwife. So growing up, I really saw her as a role model. Beyond that, I really love to help people. And I also believe in tough love. As a nurse, you're supposed to be able to be objective. Objective meaning stand on the outside, not give your views, just do what needs to be done. I think through that, or through my natural qualities, I'm suitable to be a nurse, because I'm a very loving person. However, I get it done when it needs to be done. So for nursing, initially it was my aunt. Then afterwards, I grew a genuine passion for it and saw that this is the life for me. I hope that answers your question, and I hope that will help you to seek out what you truly want to be. Yes, Samara Thompson, my aunt is still a nurse now. Any more questions? I guess that's a no. All right, guys, students, parents, do you have more questions? Samar said yes, but I don't see his question.
Yes, there's Jay Williams. Go ahead, Jay Williams.
Miss, you said that some people take the vaccine and then they die. I don't understand, why do they die when you take it?
Why do they die when you take it? I can't answer. Why do some people die when they take it? I really can't answer the question, to be honest. I'm not a researcher, so I'm not sure why they die. But you know, everything has different effects on everyone, and it was just their time to die. That was the will of God.
Okay, Miss, that's nice to hear from you.
Okay.
All right, Kiana, go ahead.
Excuse me, miss, what do you like about being a nurse?
What do I like about being a nurse? Well, personally, since being on the ward or doing rotations in my services at the hospital, I really like giving medication. Injections are my favorite. But beyond that, I love the interaction with the patients. I think being a nurse, you understand the genuine concept of love. Why? You can say I love your mother or your family or whatever, but when you have to go out and love other people in the same capacity that you love your own, it's really different. And I think through nursing, I've gotten a greater concept of love. Is it easy? Nothing is easy, but once you put your mind to it, it is achievable and it will be easier if you love it, if it's a passion. What hospital do you work? Currently, I'm doing rotations at KPH, which is Kingston Public Hospital. And as you know, that's located in Kingston. That's it. Jay Williams, do you still have a question?
Miss, I want to be a doctor.
That's really good. So you have to start putting the work out from now.
To
Meaning,
save people.
pardon me?
To save people.
And that's good. That's really nice. But you have to understand that you have to start putting in the work from now. Time management is a very, very big aspect of life, no matter what career you choose. So from now, you have to ensure you do your homework on time, study for your test on time, allow it to become a habit or become a part of you. So when the time comes that it's really required, it will come naturally and you can best apply yourself to whatever career you choose. I want to be a YouTuber. I wish you the best with that. My fellow nurses to come. I can't wait until you guys become nurses. Oh, does coronavirus affect your habit? Pardon me? Oh, someone asked how does coronavirus affect my family and are they scared to be around me? To be honest, I don't think they are afraid to be around me because they understand my career choice and they understand the depths of the virus. They understand that they could be at work and get the virus just the same. So I'm not put aside or, put in any high, you should go hospital or so on. No. They really treat me normal and my sister is pursuing a degree to become a doctor and we are treated regularly. No major things.
This?
Yes.
This? You know, so, you know that when you travel, you don't know that somebody's sitting inside and that person have coronavirus, and you don't know it that person have coronavirus. Just pray, yeah, miss. You say the prayer, miss. You go through everything we need. Prayer is recruit through God, yeah, miss.
All right, thank you very much, and I will say the same to you. Ensure you pray and put your trust in God.
Yes, miss. I pray every night when I go to my bed.
Good, and pray every day. Walk in prayer.
Yes, miss.
Okay. All right.
think
Wonderful. Yes. Okay. This does. So I'm going to thank you very much for your presentation. And at this time, I'm going to ask Leah Heath to do the vote of thanks. Leah? Is Leah there? Leah?
I'm not seeing her, Miss.
Okay, she's
I'm
not
not
there.
seeing her.
Okay, so Miss Deborah Dawes, on behalf of the Anchovy Primary School family, it is our pleasure to have you sharing in our Careers Day 2020. I am sure that the children have garnered much from you that they can learn. You said that they should ensure that they study from now, which is very important in achieving their goal. So we want to thank you very much. All the best in your endeavors as you continue in your areas. God bless you. Thank you.
Very much, and it was an honor.
You're welcome.
Miss, remember to pray. All of you.
Yes, yes, we should all pray. Thank you. We should all remember to pray. All right, so we will continue with our program now. Remember, yes, remember to pray. Good. Thank you. All right. So just remember what she said. Remember, set your goals in life as we have taught in HLFLE class. Set your goals in life. Work hard to achieve your goals. You start here. You start right where you are in school. As I said before, be the best that you can be. All right. We're going to move on now to our second speaker. Our second speaker. And I'm going to ask Praise Marie Cohen to introduce our second speaker.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The pleasure is mine today to introduce
Hold on,
our.
Miss Simit, sorry, Praise. Before you go, before you go, Praise Marie, I think our second speaker is wrapping up a session in court. So if we can just give her another 5 minutes to come in. Miss Scott has a video that she would love to share in the meantime. We will give that one. All right?
Okay, Miss.
So Praise, we're going to just hold on until Miss Grant joins us. All right?
Okay, Miss.
Okay.
All
Yes,
right.
Miss.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss.
Sir, I send it to you. I don't think I got internet go on.
I am Nurse Campbell, and I just want to begin by saying thank you for including me in your Careers Day today. So let's just start off with it. What do I do? Well, what this uniform stands for, I am a registered nurse. In short, an RN. Okay, so how did I get on this journey? All right, let's start from the beginning. I had some assistance after I had left my alma mater. My alma maters are Rosie's High School, that's in Lucy, Hanover. Went there for grade 7 after I had passed my GSAT at the time, which is now called PEP. And I spent a year there, after which I was transferred to Manning School in Savannah, Lamar. And I spent the remainder of my high school tenure there. After I was through, even on the journey, I was still not so sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do the sciences, something within the medical field. So I kept my options open. So what I did in high school, I was a science student. So I did my chemistry, physics, biology. I also added in some food and nutrition. I did Spanish, so on and so forth, all of which I was successful in. I went on, I didn't do sixth form. What I did, I did pre-university sciences so I could get to do my CAPE subjects at the Montego Bay Community College, the Frome campus, however. That's a campus that we have in Westmoreland. So I wasn't traveling to Montego Bay per se. So I went there to do my CAPE subjects. So I was still within the science field. All right. And even then, so I graduated high school in 2010, and I spent 2 years in community college. So I was doing my CAPE subjects. I mean, as we get older and older, those are just the different stages. You do CSEC, then you do CAPE for those who have a particular goal, because not everyone needs to go in the same order in order to get to their career goal. All right. So I had spent 2 years at Montego Bay Community College, and what I'd acquired, I'd gotten my CAPE subjects. I did chemistry again, I did biology, I did Caribbean studies, just the usual. And in addition to that, I did pure maths, favorite subject in high school. So in order to get into nursing school, one thing I'm going to tell you from now on, never put all your eggs in one basket. All right? What does that mean? That means that always have more than one plan. And A, B, C, you have 26 letters in the alphabet. Make sure you make plans for each letter. Life happens, and that's just the truth about it. You don't remember, we have no idea what the future holds. So as human beings, we are only just making plans just in case, because some opportunities may come about that you may not have planned for, and also some unfortunate things may happen that again we may not have planned for. Okay, so in making your goals, remain motivated, but also plan for the unexpected. And they do have a saying that says, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail, where you always have multiple plans in place. All right. So after I had finished up with, I was finishing up with my my CAPE subjects in community college. I had some assistance from a teacher. She was helping me to figure out what I was going to do. So she was like thinking of my personality and tying everything together. She says, "What do you like to do?" I said, "I love to help people. I love to see people smile. And especially I love to be there for people when they are most vulnerable. A lot of people, when they are ill, they are most vulnerable. What do I mean? They're at their weakest points. They lack support. Not everybody has a family or family member that would be coming to look for them. Like, because working in the hospitals, you will be there and you will have at least, you'll have quite a handful of patients that you would realize they never have a visitor, right? So I'm thinking of those persons. They're even more vulnerable. They're even more alone. And illness has a way of not just taking your body, but sometimes it takes the mind also. I wanted to be there for persons like those. All right. So she said, try nursing. I said, okay. I applied. I applied to NCU, UE, UTech. Basically, as I said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because you have to think, what if the school that doesn't take, make sure that your options were wide open and it won't be too late to apply to the rest. So apply to everybody. Everybody. You're not sure where your journey is going to take you, but apply everywhere that is possible for you to apply to for your career choice. So I applied everywhere and I got through for everywhere. So I went to my mother's favorite, which was UWI. So I went to University of the West Indies. Also, for short, UWISON, University of the West Indies School of Nursing. So I went there. My degree program lasted for 4 years, at the end of which, well, let's talk about when we were at UE. There were many points of regret, sadness. At some points you felt depressed. There were points where you were wondering what is going on in the class, because now you are out of it. You're not sure what's going on. But there are these persons or blessings called a praying mother. Prayer works. God has to be in the midst of everything. He's one person you can't leave out. I prayed a lot, cried a lot, laughed a lot. And I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had the friends I had were very valuable. All right, because good friends are better than pocket money, right? So the little handful of friends that you will have must be persons that keep you motivated, they keep you on track with your goal. So whomever it is that you think to take on your journey with you should be people that enhance your life and bring you closer to your goal. All right, so at the end of my 4 years, I would have done a practical exam where the nursing council, which is the council that is in charge of us, they issue our license and so on and so forth. So they would have sent representatives to the hospitals that you would have been throughout your 4 years. You in second year, that's how you does it. But in time forward, they may do it a little different. Second year, that's when I started to go to the hospital. So you go to you go to hospitals, you go to Bellevue, KPH, Victoria Jubilee Hospital. So it depends on what we're doing. Victoria Jubilee would have been taken up, for example, with when we're doing parent child health. So that would have to deal with pregnant women and women with any other reproductive issues, but any issues specific, any health issues specific to women. So we would have gone so a list of hospitals, as I said, national chairs, and the list goes on. So after going through those, the reason for doing it is that they're helping you to narrow down what aspect of nursing you may really be interested in. So persons may go on to be midwives, etc. In addition to
Okay, there you have it. That was a video of someone who can motivate you as to whatever career path you choose, you work hard to achieve your goals. Whatever you want to be in life, choose it and work hard. Okay, so we have Miss Tamika Grant in now. So I'm going to invite Praise Marie Cohen to do the introduction. Praise Marie.
The pleasure is mine today to introduce to you our second guest speaker. Miss Grant's legal career has been short but distinguished. Appeared in the civil and criminal matters at all levels of the court in the islands. A quick written legal professional, her passion for the law is surpassed to each case. She holds a Bachelor of Law degree with honors from the University of the West Indies, Mona, and a certificate of legal education from the Norman Manley Law School. During her law school tenure, she interned as judicial assistant or research clerk in the Supreme Court of Jamaica. Miss Grant was called to the Jamaican bar in 2016. She was called to the Jamaican bar in 2016 and then began her employment as an associate attorney and Finbar Grant and Associates in Turks and Caicos in 2017 with a dual practice in civil cases and criminal defense. In 2019, she left private practice to become a public prosecutor. A firm believer in social responsibility, Miss Grant is also a member of the Rotaract Club of Provincials and participates in various social development programs in partnership with Rotary, Interact, and other civil service groups. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please make welcome our guest speaker, Miss Grant.
Thank you very much, Praise Marie, for that introduction, and good morning to everyone. My name is Tamika Grant. I am a public prosecutor at present. I've been an attorney for about 4 years now. Well, just a little discussion about why I got into law. It was a bit of a toss-up between becoming an attorney or a vet at the time. I had two passions in life. The law, I found it interesting, and I loved animals. So those were my two toss-ups going into school. So whenever anybody asked me what I was going to do, or if I was on a quiz team and we're introducing ourselves or anything like that, the two things I would also always say is I wanted to be an attorney or I wanted to be a vet. My personality as a child, I was always very talkative, very precocious. I was always not the quietest child in school, but I always read a lot. I was an only child, so my books were my company. So I think maybe that's why a lot of persons encouraged me to get into law, because I was always reading everything I could find. There was a point in time where actually I got a dictionary as a gift for something I did, and I started reading the dictionary. I don't know why I did that at the time, but at the time it seemed fun to me. So I started doing that. I didn't get very far. I don't think I got past. I don't think I even finished A, but there was a period that I was doing that. I read novels nonstop. And outside of that, if I wasn't reading, I was playing video games. So that was my thing. So the interest in reading was there from a long time. And that is the one thing that you will need to take you, if you ever decide to have a career in law. That is the one thing you will always need to have, because it is a lot of reading, as a matter of fact. This is one of the textbooks that I use in practice now. It's called an Archbold, and it's just about criminal procedure. So it's not even about anything else. This is just one of the textbooks that I need for criminal law. This I take to court with me all the time, because if I'm in a trial and I need to do some quick research on a point of law to respond to something, this is what helps me. And you see how thick it is. I don't know if you'll be able to see how tiny the words are, no? But yeah, it's a lot. And no, I have not read all of this. I've read some chapters, the chapters that I need, but I have not read all of it. So a love of reading is essential in this profession. But when I started high school and I started doing the science subjects, I realized I did not have a taste for the sciences at all. So the dream of becoming a veterinarian died a little slowly. So I had to realize what my strengths were and play to my strengths. So I left the vet thing alone. I still love animals, but I decided that wasn't going to be the path for me. So I also developed an interest in IT. I loved information technology in school. I was always trying to keep up with all the little trends, every new bit of technology that came out. I was always interested in those. By the time I got to ninth grade, I was trying to choose my subjects based on what either being a lawyer or going into IT. So I did a very general mix of subjects in CSEC, and that was my thing. So until I started applying for university, which was after I got to community college, I wasn't sure if I wanted to still be a lawyer or if I wanted to go into IT. When I started applying to university, I switched again. I thought maybe I could do marketing. So I applied for law at UWE, and I also applied for marketing. I only applied to that school. I don't know if you were hearing when the teacher before was telling you to apply to everywhere, but I was sure I wanted to go to UWE. So I didn't spread I put my eggs in one basket, but what I did, I applied to two programs. So I applied to do law and I applied to do marketing. So just in case I didn't get into the law, I had a backup. So I would have been comfortable either way. But I agree with what the previous speaker said. Always have a backup plan because life doesn't always go exactly as you want it to go. And when it doesn't go exactly as you want it to go, it's just as good to be okay with where you land. Always aim for the stars so that if you fall on the clouds, you're still good. Right. So I am from a little community in Westmoreland. I don't know if anybody here knows it. It's a place called Dundee, near to Seaford Town, high in the hills of Westmoreland, a very rural community. So getting opportunities to study, to get out of such a rural community is pretty rare and very important for us to work really hard so that we don't get stuck into sort of not the kind of career path that you'd want, so that your dreams aren't crushed by your circumstances. So I had to work really hard, study really hard, because I didn't want to do the things that were available to me in Dundee. I don't like outside. I was never an outside child. If you remember, I was saying that my interests were always in reading and playing video games. So when I got home from school, it's maybe just because I didn't have anybody to play with, I was inside. I didn't like gardening. My mother loved plants and gardening, and she was always outside planting things, and she'd get me to try to come and help her, but I was never interested in that. So the industry in my area was farming. So I did not want to do that. I mean, it's great for if you love it, but it's not something that I wanted to do. And loving what you do is very important. They say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I knew that that wasn't for me. So I wanted to do something else. I wanted to follow my dreams. So I knew I had to work really hard and get really good grades so that I could get to where I wanted to go. My grandmother always used to tell me, like every day, because I was always doing things other than my schoolwork when I should have been doing my schoolwork. She always used to tell me, revision is the secret to scholarships. And scholarships are what will get you out of any situation that you are not able to get yourself out of in terms of financial resources. So the things that I wanted to do were going to be very expensive. I knew that. So I knew that I needed to work really hard. And also, usually the thing is, if you're not really good with books, the other thing would be to be artistic. I have no artistic talents at all. So I knew the only thing that I could use was my mind. So I had to train that. So outside wasn't for me. Art wasn't for me. I like to read. I like to talk. So I was on the right path with doing law. I went to Dundee All Age. I left there and I went to Montego Bay High School for Girls. That was the school I always wanted to go to because I used to see the girls in the gray and white when I went to Mobile with my mom, and I had some friends who had gone there before. I had a lot of older friends. Well, not much older, but like 2 years older than me. All my friends were at least 2 years older than me at the time. And that they were performing really well. And that pushed me to follow that path as well. So most of them went to Mobile High, and I thought, I want to go there too. I got in, I did my 5 years, I did my C6 subjects, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, as I said, but I did a general mix of subjects so that I had options. So I did subjects that would expose me to various areas, and so I could choose what I wanted to do. When I was in high school, I wouldn't say I was quiet, but I didn't make friends easily. I had a few friends, and when I did get around those friends, I did get in trouble a lot for talking too much. But the thing was that even when I was doing all of that, I still got my work done. So that was the important thing. The important thing to always remember is you're not always going to be perfect, and striving for perfection is great, but also be kind to yourself. Always remember that you're young, you have opportunities, and you'll have chances to fix any mistakes that you make along the way. So push yourself, but don't be too hard on yourself. So that was the thing with me during high school. I was very relaxed as a student. I got good grades, but I found a balance between. I didn't like studying as much as I should have, because my grandmother would always, as I said, my grandmother would always tell me every day, revision is the secret of success. So what she wanted me to do was to come home every day and revise what I did during the same day. I wasn't with that, but I found a system that worked for me in terms of getting the material into my head, and I did that. So that's the other thing I want you guys to remember. When you're studying, find a system that works for you. If you are a student that hears things and remembers them, so you learn in your class, then do that. Pay attention in your class, don't let anybody distract you. If you're not, or if you're somebody who needs to read to take things in, then make sure that you read your material before your classes, and this will carry you all the way through to university, through high school, because you have your textbooks. Read it and see if you can understand it, so you can ask your teachers questions. That was my thing. I didn't learn by hearing things. I didn't process it until I read it. So I often left class feeling a little lost, but by the time when I got home and then I started studying on my own, then I was able to grasp the things. So I wasn't able to revise like my grandmother wanted me to, but I found a system that worked for me, and that's what I used to propel me to where I wanted to go. After high school, I went to the Montego Bay Community College. There I did the same things I was thinking of. I did some business subjects. I did some, well, not really much science subjects, but mostly business and art subjects. So I did literature in high school. At community college, I did like reading and writing courses. I did history, and things like that. I don't remember all the courses I did then, but I did sociology and so on. And I wanted, and it was another thing about the competition with my friends. My friends who had been there before me had gotten CAPE awards. So I decided that I wanted CAPE awards as well. So finding your motivation is important, because at that time I could have gotten away with not working as hard as I should have, but because I wanted to get the CAPE awards like my friends did, I worked really hard to get to that level, and I did get those awards. I I got one in my first year, and then in my second year, I got the Cape Award for the highest grade in law in the Caribbean. And by that time, when those results came out, I was still trying to decide what I wanted to do. And I had gotten to, I'd been, this is by that time when those results came out, I was already at UWI. I had gotten into law, I was very excited, but at the same time, I wasn't sure that this was what I wanted to do. And when I found out that I had gotten that Cape Award for law, I felt like that was God telling me that this is what you were meant to do. So I threw myself into law. The doubts faded away, and I said to myself, this is what you were really meant to do. This is the best fit for you as a person, for your skills, for your interests. And so I decided this was what I was going to do. I did 3 years at University of the West Indies in their undergrad law program. Graduated from there with honors. That was difficult for me because, like I said, I don't learn by hearing. So I was in the lectures feeling lost all the time and wondering, even though I had decided at the start after getting the Cape Award that, okay, law was for me, I got to UWI and I was still feeling a little lost. And everybody around me was super smart. And there were some really bright people in the class. Like I was like, okay, I thought I was smart, but then I got there and these people were like, wow. And I was feeling a little lost and I stuck with it and I prayed and I said, lectures clearly aren't for me. And I would go home from class and I would read the material. And as I read, I realized I was starting to absorb. And sometimes reading didn't happen until closer to exams, but I still managed to get the material in. And that was the thing about university. UWI showed me more than anything else, because it was the first time I was really forced to work super hard, like push myself beyond the limits I thought I had before. So I had to find a new gear, motivate myself beyond what I thought I was capable of, and push myself to even higher heights, if you will. And I started doing things a little differently in terms of how I studied. And I had to find a new way to get through to UWI. So at UWI, I found that I had to reinvent myself. And that in itself was a journey for me. So having gotten through UWI, the lesson that I took from there is always be ready to reinvent yourself. Always be ready to push yourself a bit further, and always be ready to re-examine yourself and not be too comfortable in who you thought you were as a person. So I graduated from UWI, and when I was going through UWI, I found a core group of friends. I had a lot of friends because I was living on hall. So there were people or dorms. I don't know if you guys have heard about those, but I was living I'm from Westmoreland, so I had to move to Kingston. And I was living on a dorm with a bunch of other persons, I think like 20 odd persons. And they became a sort of family for me. Being away from home, they were supportive, they were friendly, but they were doing other courses. So in my actual course, in my law school course, I found a group of friends who I could study with and who would push me. So we got together, we played to our strengths. So I had one friend who was really good at tort, which is about wrongs against other people. I had another friend who was good about land matters. I had a friend who was good with other courses. But what we did was we found our strengths and we would get together and teach each other. So the thing when you in school, always remember the teacher doesn't only have one A. Helping each other and finding people who can help you so that you can all get the A's together is the best thing, because you will never know everything. you will never be able to grasp everything by yourself. Having people around you who can help you to learn the things that you didn't quite get will be a super benefit to you always going forward in school. So always remember to find friends. Finding friends is great, but finding friends who can push you and who you can pull up with you as well will always be beneficial to you. And those friendships that you form from primary school, high school, university, if they are good friends who will be supportive in your education and will push you and help you be better, those will be lifetime friends. And even when you leave school and you start working, they will still be there to support you. Even my friends in other fields, I have doctor friends I can call, I have police friends I can call, I have teacher friends I can call, I have nurse friends I can call. So having those people around you who can push you and help you to be better would always be important. So choosing the right friends is another thing that I took from UE. So after UE, I went to Norman Manley Law School. And Norman Manley Law School is a postgraduate certification. At Norman Manley, they teach you the practical aspects of being a lawyer. So at UE, they teach you the theory. They teach you criminal law introduction. They teach you introduction to tort. They teach you introduction to contracts, but it's not real life experience. It will be just the principles or the foundation that you need to build on later in life. And they teach you how to do research, how to think like a lawyer, and things like that. Because as a lawyer, you will never know everything that there is to know about the law. Even in the areas that you practice, you will never know everything that there is to know. And that is why I have this. So what going to law school really did for me is teach me how to find the information that I need, find it quickly, and be able to analyze it and be able to deal with it. So at UE, they taught me all the foundation that I would need. And at Norman Manley, they taught me how to put it into practice in the real world. So the idea is, because there are lots of lawyers in Jamaica and a lot of us wouldn't have been able to get positions in firms, for an older attorney to teach us, when they wanted us, when we left, to be fully capable of being attorneys in our own right, to go up, set up our own practices and start working the day after we graduate. And that was important, because a lot of my friends set up their own private practices and are doing really well, even as young attorneys, and I'm so proud of them. But I decided to take a different route. I wanted to stay in Jamaica for a bit, because what you learn in Jamaica, because it's so fast paced, we have really excellent attorneys, like some of the best in the Caribbean come from Jamaica. Even where I am now, some of the best attorneys that are here come from Jamaica. And it's because of the teaching that we get, both at UE and at Norman Manley. They are excellent programs, and they teach you practical life skills and as an attorney. So that training puts you worlds ahead of training that you get in other parts of the world. So a lot of persons ask me why I didn't go to the UK to do my degree or something like that. But one, the program in Jamaica is excellent, both for medicine and for law. If you can stay here to do your degrees, that is, never let anybody to tell you that you need to go away to do your degrees. We have excellent colleges and universities right here, right there in Jamaica. But I decided when I started practice that I was going to go to the Turks and Caicos. The reason I did that was because, well, my dad is an attorney, so I had a job waiting for me there. So at first I wanted to stay in Jamaica a little bit and get some experience, but at the time when I graduated, he really needed my help at the time because he had heavy caseloads. And so I decided to just go. So that's basically my history. I got to the Turks and Caicos, I started out in private practice, meaning I didn't work for the government. I worked for my dad, and we did civil matters, meaning disputes between persons about property, money, and so on, like personal injury, like if somebody got in an accident and was injured and they wanted to sue somebody or things like that. And I also did criminal defense. If somebody was arrested and charged for a crime, I would go to court and try to show why they were not guilty. And then after doing that for 2 years, I decided I wanted to see the other side of the criminal practice. So I became a public prosecutor. The public prosecutor is the opposite of a criminal defense attorney. The criminal defense attorney tries to prove that you are not guilty. The public prosecutor tries to prove that you are guilty. So I wanted to see the other side of the coin because I wanted to broaden my horizons and be a better attorney. I don't know if I'll go back to private practice. I actually like what I'm doing now. It gives me an opportunity to immerse myself fully into the criminal law. And I love it. It's exciting. Some days it's not so exciting. But like I said, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So the trade-off for all the reading and all the sleepless nights that I have endured from through school into practice has been that I truly do love what I do. And even on the days that I think I might not want to be a lawyer anymore, or this is too hard, I don't want to do this, the thing when I think about it is like, what else would I do? There is nothing else I'm interested in. I'm pretty much in it for the long haul. And they always say that lawyers never retire. So I guess I'm in this for the rest of my life. So maybe one day I might sit down and have that thought and I'll find something else that I might want to do. But for now, this is it. So a few takeaways from my life story. Remember your potential. Don't let your circumstances limit you. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. If you can, once you have a dream in mind, don't let where you're from, don't let anything that anybody says to you limit you. Try to reach those dreams, try to reach those goals. And I will leave you with the thing that my grandmother always told me: revision is the secret to scholarships. So do take her advice more than I did, because I actually didn't end up getting any of those scholarships because I didn't revise enough. I guess there was always somebody better than me. And a bonus, there will always be somebody better than you, but make sure you be the best that you can be. All right. And lastly, remember to make good friends, find friends who can push you, work hard together, and achieve your goals together. Remember, the teacher doesn't only have one A, you all can succeed together. All right. I'll take any questions that you guys have. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope I have encouraged you all to be the best you that you can be.
Mimish.
Okay, students, remember to raise your hand. Yes, raise your hand and you will be acknowledged. So you're going to raise your hand and we will acknowledge you. All right? So Miss Grant will take your question.
All right, I see Travis Davis. Go ahead, Travis.
Teacher, is it teacher? Lawyer is our teacher, or it is easy teacher? It is our teacher.
It's a mix. Sometimes it's really hard and it takes a lot of work, especially when you have like a really big case. But sometimes once you do your work and you study and you read all of the things that you need to read, then it becomes easier over time. And as you gain experience, certain things come to you more easily and you will be able to avoid making mistakes that you make over time. So it becomes easier over time, but it's never fully easy. So that's why I say you really have to love it in order to be successful, because it takes a lot of work. There was somebody else. There was a Thompson that had their hand up before. No. Michaela Smith,
Yes, miss.
you have your hand up?
Yes, miss.
Go ahead.
Be a lawyer.
Sorry, what? I didn't hear your question, Michaela.
How long did you stay in university?
3 years in my undergrad and then 2 years at Norman Manley, so it takes 5 years in total.
Okay, miss.
Okay. Brianna Britton.
Miss, do you have to talk a lot?
Yes. Some days I spend the whole day talking. When I have trials, I'll be on my feet all day talking. If I have Court of Appeal matters, I remember doing an appeal once and I was talking for 2 days. But water, keeping your voice hydrated, helps with that. But yeah, there's a lot of talking, a lot of writing. Sometimes I'll have to write. Sometimes my arguments aren't oral. I won't stand in front of a court and speak. I'll have to type out my submissions, or arguments, like that's what we call them, and put it on paper. I've done submissions that are 20 pages long. So like a whole class project, really. And sometimes they get longer than that. So yeah.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
What do you love about being a lawyer, teacher?
What I love about being a lawyer is that I get problems to solve. So when persons come to me, either when I was a defense attorney or in civil practice, it was like a puzzle. So I had to figure out what their issues were, find law to back it up, back up my position, or what could help. Sorry, 1 second. What could help the person that I was trying to help. So I like solving problems. I like, it's like a mystery, and finding clues and finding support for what I need, and that kind of exciting. When I'm researching for a while and I finally find that point that I really need to help my client, that's really exciting to me. And those moments when I really find what I need to help my client after searching for so long, it feels really rewarding and I feel like I'm helping people. So sometimes I am a therapist as well. I have to counsel persons and I'm like really a support. I find people at their lowest, because when you get before a court, either because of money issues or because of a crime, or because you've been victim of a crime or accused of perpetrating a crime, you really need somebody to be there and be in your corner. And I like being that for people. All right, who's next? I see Dimitri Dryden with their hand up. Mrs. Gray, I just answered your question.
Yes, miss. You and your father was working.
Say what? I didn't hear you, Dimitri. Say that again. Or did he freeze?
I said, hold.
I think we've lost Dimitri.
All right, I think we lost Dimitri. I think you could take Jordan, and Dimitri, you could put your question in the chat and we can have Miss Grant address your question, all right?
That's an excellent idea. So go ahead, Jordan.
Miss, why didn't you like farming?
Because I don't like outside. That's always been, even as from a child growing up, I was always a house person. I was always in the house, watching TV, reading, playing games. I just never that child who liked to go outside. That was just not me. I mean, my mom is a farmer. My mom raises bees, and I I never got into it. So I help her with the business side of it. I helped her design her label. I help her with packaging, but the going outside to be literally in the farm, it was never my thing. And I just really bad at it. I always forgot to water my plants. I always forgot to plant, because there are things that you need to know as a farmer. It's always so interesting. My mother, she can tell you everything about bees. Like, she knows, it's amazing how much she knows about bees. But I just never got into it. She can tell you when you need to read based on the moon and all of those things and all the technology. She's up to date with all the latest farming things, but it was just never my interest. So, like I said, you play to the things that interest you and the things that you're good at. And I was just never good at farming or anything farming related, except for the business side of it. So I do that.
Okay, Miss.
Brianna is next. Brianna Shelton.
Yes, Brianna, go ahead, please.
Excuse me, miss, do you hardly get sleep being a lawyer?
Oh, that is the question. I do have a lot of sleepless nights. You can't see my dark circles right now, but they're very dark. My mother hates that. But she, even when I was in high school, even before I became a lawyer, she always used to tell me to go to sleep at night because I'd stay up late studying. I was always a night person. So I'd wake up late and then I would study through the day into the night, especially closer to exam season. And I do my best work between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Like, I don't know what happens, but inspiration just strikes at that point and I just go. So if I'm doing submissions or if I need to type up something, most of it is going to get done between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m. So to answer your question, I don't sleep a lot. I am up late often, and it's something I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to do more work during the day so I can sleep more, because sleep is good for you. And good for maintaining your stress levels, good for maintaining your weight, all of that. So I'm trying to sleep more, but yeah, a lot of sleepless nights do come with being an attorney. But it's something I've found peace with, and I supplement my life with coffee. But yes, who's next? Rihanna.
All right, so we'll take Rihanna, and then there's a question in the chat. The question in the chat will be our final question, so we can let Miss Grant go. All right, students, so go ahead, Rihanna.
Teacher, as a lawyer, Miss, when someone, like, when they do something wrong, can you solve all their problems?
Honestly,
like all their
no.
issues?
No, that's a good question. No, I can't solve all their problems. If you're really wrong, the best I can do for you more often than not is to mitigate your issues. So if you are truly guilty of a crime, say for example, you plead guilty to the crime, I can go before the court at your sentencing hearing and ask the judge to give you a lighter sentence, to think about, the fact that you will be rehabilitated quickly, you aren't going to be a danger to society, you're truly sorry for what you did, and things like that. So a lot of our job is not to get the guilty free, it is to make sure that the innocent do not suffer for the guilty. And yes, that ties into...
Okay, Miss.
Yes, Lana, you had a follow-up question?
No, Miss.
Okay, thank you for your question. To Miss Grant's question in the chat, the saying that lawyers lie, it's something that I get so often. It's like the first thing that people ask me if I do lie. And the short answer is no. When we become attorneys, we swear an oath to integrity, to uphold the Constitution, and all of that. So in order to make sure that we don't run afoul of that vow or that oath, we are not supposed to lie. If you are caught lying as an attorney, on behalf of a client or on behalf of yourself, you could find yourself disbarred. We have an organization called the General Legal Counsel that looks at attorneys' conduct and makes sure that we uphold the dignity and values of the profession. So we are expected to operate with a standard of integrity, and to make sure if we run afoul of that, we could find ourselves disbarred. We do not lie on behalf of our clients. If we know that a client is guilty, we're not supposed to, at least. I won't say that some attorneys don't do it or some attorneys don't lie on behalf of their clients, but sacrificing your integrity on the behalf of one client is never worth it in the long run for your career. The thing about being an attorney, a defense attorney in particular, is that the Constitution, which is the highest law in the country, says that every man is innocent until proven guilty. What that means for defense attorneys is that, or for defendants, is that they do not have to prove that they are innocent. It is the prosecution, which I do know, that has to bring the evidence to show that the person is guilty. All the defense has to do is to poke holes in it, basically, to show that maybe the evidence is not as strong as we are saying it is. Maybe the evidence is not as strong as the prosecution is saying it is. And if the evidence is not as strong as the prosecution is saying it is, then the person cannot be guilty, because there's a standard to which the evidence must go to prove a person is guilty. And that standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. So if there's any reasonable doubt, meaning there is some valid amount of doubt that you're not quite sure if the person did it, then the jury or the judge in the case has to find the person not guilty. So the job of a defense attorney is not to lie on the behalf of their client to say that they're not guilty. It's to show that the Crown's evidence is weaker than it should be. So with that being how we should operate, and if you're operating like that, you don't run into compromising your integrity because you're not lying on behalf of your client. If the Crown's evidence is not as strong as it should be, that's not your problem. All you have to do is challenge the evidence and show that it's not as strong as it's supposed to be. All right. Yes, Miss Lewis said that if they're guilty but there's no evidence, then they can't be found guilty, because that's not your job. Somebody asked if I'm short. I am tall in my mind, but I am actually only 5 feet 2 inches tall. So when I'm going to court, I usually wear heels so I can look as tall as I feel in my mind. But yeah, sometimes being short is, you have to make up for it with the confidence. So I try to work on that. Yep, I think that was the last question or comment.
Just a minute. Just a minute, Miss Grant. There is a question. Just a minute, Miss Grant. There's a question that was asked earlier. Actually, it's two parts, but you answered one already. Another part that says, can you be a Christian and be a lawyer?
Oh, yes, definitely. Most of the attorneys I know are Christians, because like I said, you don't lie as a part of your profession, and Christianity teaches you certain compassion and a certain amount of care, a certain amount of empathy that's required to be a Christian. The same, being your brother's keeper, wanting the best for people and using your skills for the best of your society and of your clients is something that's very Christian to me. Because what the aim of being a Christian always is to be the best person that you can be, to help others. I might not be helping the person on the other side, but I would be helping my client. And sometimes I did a lot of pro bono work when I was a defense attorney as well. I'd go to court and somebody didn't have an attorney and needed some help. I would do that. In civil matters, I help people when they are going to be evicted and they needed somebody to stand up for them. And I feel like those are very Christian things. Using your talents in a way to help others, I think is very Christian. And once you maintain your professional integrity, you won't run afoul of your morals as a Christian either. Using your morals to guide you makes you a much better attorney than just trying to win all the time. Trying to win all the time might help you in the short run, but in terms of your reputation as an attorney and in terms of your colleagues respecting you, being a truly Christian person, being moral and having integrity will always in the long run make you a better attorney and grant you more respect in the field.
Okay, Miss Grant, we are so grateful to you for coming and sharing in our Careers Day 2021. And so at this time, I'm going to invite Jada Wright to do the vote of thanks. Jada?
Mr. Mika Grant, on behalf of the Anchovy Primary School, we want to say thank you for participating and sharing what you do as a lawyer. You have truly learned a lot and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Jada. And it was really my pleasure to be here with you all. You guys asked very good questions, clearly very smart, and I look forward to seeing some of you in the profession in the future and in wherever you choose to go, whichever profession you choose to be a part of. I wish you all the best and thank you very much for having me. Bye.
All the best now.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. And so we will continue. At this time, I'm going to invite another speaker. He is a computer technician in the Ministry of Education at Turks and Caicos. He is Mr. Eugene Grant. Mr. Grant, we welcome you, sir. Welcome to Anchovy Primary School Virtual Careers Day 2021. It's over to you, sir.
Good morning, or should I say afternoon? Sorry, take this off. Good afternoon, miss. One second. Yes, good evening, students. My name is Mr. Eugene Grant. I'm an education officer with the Department of Education in Turks and Caicos Islands. As a matter of fact, the young lady you were just listening to, Miss Tamika Grant, is actually my niece. And yes, she is short. She says she's tall, but she's short. Okay. So like I say, my job here at the department is I'm responsible for what they call, if Miss can let me take control, so I want to show you something. I don't know if you guys are seeing my screen.
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay, yes. Like I said, my name is Mr. Grant. I'm education officer with the Department of Education responsible for ICT. You see two pictures to the bottom of the screen. I'll tell you all about that in a moment. Feel some explanation about that. Okay. Like I said, that's my name, Education Eugene Grant, Education Officer, Department of Education, Turks and Caicos. Now, the Department of Education is just like the Department of Education in Jamaica. We are responsible for seeing that all schools are kept up to date and running the way they're supposed to be running, trying to ensure that they have all the materials that they would need to function properly. My responsibility within the department is for ICT. Now, some of you may have heard about ICT before, but ICT, it's an abbreviation for something. The I is for information, the C, communication, the T for technology. So I deal with information and communication technology. Now, when you think about information and communication technology, you're thinking about wide range of not just hardware, software. You're talking about computers, you're talking about phones, you're talking about radios, DVDs, also educational games. All of these are a part of information communication technology. And part of my responsibility is that ensuring that the schools have this type of equipment so that it can aid them in teaching their students. Like I said, communications, of course, you're talking about phones, computers, all this is part of ICT. Hardware, the computer itself. Then you get into more sophisticated things like servers. The server is what holds all the information. For some things you may have, your teachers may have, they don't want to write it down, they may store it somewhere on what is known as a server. Okay, that's your storage. And of course, all of you know about this, the internet, which is key to nowadays communication. I'm able to communicate with you, you're able to see me via video using Zoom because of an internet connection that is possible. Okay? Now, my job is to provide not just support. I give support, as in if something goes wrong, I'm there to help them sort it out. I also help with their applications, creating apps or creating software once we have the material. I aid in that also. Now, some of you may be looking, and I know you're wondering, well, why is there a DJ set or two turntables to the bottom of the screen? Actually, I started, well, I used to teach, went to school in Jamaica for 4 years. I came back, I was a teacher, but I was also a DJ at one point working with my brother. He owned a sound company, now one of the largest ones in the islands. And I started off working with him as his DJ. And that's where I started getting into the whole technology bit of things, learning how things work. I was amazed at how he could wire something, put up some speakers, put up some amps, and the sound that would come through it. And I just became interested in the technology that was able to do that part of it. And from there, he also got into video production, creating videos. So I also did video production. So I would go take videos, edit them, and produce them. In fact, one of the schools, the school that I used to teach to, the Antioch Primary School, we started something that we used to call the education, Fed the News. Now, it was actually a news program that we did at the school. So just like the news you watch on your TV, you have the reporter, the anchor person in the studio, you have the reporters going out and interviewing people and reporting the story. We did that at our primary school. Okay, so I would grab some students. We had our two reporters. We would go into the community. They would sit down and interview persons. While they're interviewing, I'm recording them. So they're the reporter. I'm the cameraman. Okay, and we did that for a number of years. In fact, we had students from grade 4 level who did interviews with the premier, the Turks and Caicos Islands at sometimes. Okay, so they didn't just interview students in the school. They interviewed persons like the premier. They interviewed persons like ministers, like the Minister of Education at one point in time. They interviewed persons of very important company. At one point, the CEO of Digicel. So we had students in 4th grade interviewing these persons and putting it live on TV. Okay, so that's one part of ICT. I was also interested in that part of it. And from there, I came to the Department of Education, where they made me responsible for the whole ICT dealing with all the schools. So it's not just computers. Okay, it's not just the internet. It's a whole lot more than that. Now, as part of my job, I am what they would call an administrator. The administrator means that I'm responsible for taking care of certain things. And two major systems that I'm responsible for taking care of is one of them is called an EMIS, EMIS. Now that also stands for something. EMIS is Education Management Information System. Okay. Now this is a system where we would collect information about all of the students in the Turks and Caicos Islands. So every student that is in our public schools, they would be registered in this system. So it would have their names, their date of birth, which school they're in, which grade they're in. Okay. With this system, once we have it up and running functionally, for example, the parents, your parent could be at home and she could sit to her desk, get on her computer or phone, go into the system and tell whether or not you are at school. She would see, because the teacher would mark the register on the system. And once the teacher mark you present, the parent can look and say, okay, yes, he's in school. Or if your mom send you school and then she go look and you see the teacher's marking you absent, that's going to be a problem for you guys. Okay, so that's what that system there is all about. And the name of it that we're using is Open EMIS. So your mom could log in and say 10:30, oh, he should be in math class. And she would log in and see that on the system. Okay. Another system that I am responsible for taking care of, like say Open EMIS, it can show you every school in the country and the total number of students in each school. If I wanted to see how many students are in our schools in the entire Turks and Caicos Islands, I would simply log into this and have a look at it. Okay. And my job is to ensure that this system is always up and functioning properly. If there's any problem, if the teacher has a problem logging in, she would call me and I would have to go in and try to fix that problem. And it has to be done for every school. So for example, we have 400 and something teachers. I have to create an account for each and every teacher. So I have to ensure that they can log into the system with no problems. And if they have an issue, that's when they contact me to try and help them out. Another major system that I am responsible for dealing with is because all our schools, all our teachers, all our students have an Office 365 account. I know some of you should be familiar with Microsoft Office. So Microsoft Words, where you type your documents, okay? Your Outlook account, your email account, you have those things. So Office 365 is one package that we have for all our students. All our students, they would have an email address, okay? They would have, and they can do all of this online. They would have access to Microsoft Words, Microsoft Publisher, Microsoft PowerPoint, like what I'm using here now. So all our students have it and it's free of course to them. They don't have to pay for nothing. Okay. And part of my job is to make sure that all of them can get on and operate it the way it's supposed to be operated. And it's the same thing for teachers. Teachers, I have to ensure also that teachers have a 365 account. One thing with 365, with Office 365 also, for example, your teacher is using Zoom so that she can do video calling with you and you guys can talk and chat over video. Most of our schools, where our students, they don't use Zoom. They use something called Teams. And it's a part of their 365 account. So it's the same thing. The teacher has a time that she has class with them. She puts it in her calendar. And because the students also have a 365 account, once she puts it in her calendar, she puts their name to it, the students would automatically get an email come to them And the email would say, you have a class starting at 11 o'clock on Monday. So it automatically tells them this is the time for the class. So they would just log in, click on the calendar, and it would take them into their class via Microsoft Teams. And they can do a video like this.
Hello, sir.
Or they can do a chat. Yes, sir. Someone was asking a question.
Okay, you can go ahead, sir.
You're seeing my head turned to the side is because, let me see if I can show you a view of what my office actually looks like, or what I'm actually looking at here. So this is my desk. So this is where I'm working from. You see, it's 2 monitors, like I said, because sometimes it involves dealing with a lot of things at once. So I have to be looking at 2 different screens. And this is all day, most of the day, I'm sitting to this desk, just helping out persons and trying to solve problems that teachers and students may have with their accounts. Like I say, because there's 2 main, there's the education management system, and there's the Office 365 account system. And it's something that I like doing because I love dealing with technology. Okay? I love working with computers. I love trying to figure out problems, especially when it involves computers or other forms of technology. That's something that I grew up with one of my older brothers, because he used to fix TVs, computers. He would normally open them up. If it was a problem, he would open them up and fix them. And so I sort of learned from him, just being around him, watching him do those things. I got interested in it. And I just continued going along with him, learning. And then I went to school. Like I said, I was a teacher at first, but spent 4 years in Jamaica, starting to be a teacher at Michael's Teachers College. I taught at one of the schools in Kingston, I think it was Tarrant All Age, for a few months. And I came back home, Turks and Caicos, taught at a primary school for a few years. Then, like I said, I was still interested in technology there because that's when we started the doing videos with the students. Then from there, went on to university in the UK to do more studies, and especially ones dealing with technology. Okay, but that is what I do every day on a whole. Is just monitoring the systems and solving problems. Because with any system, I'm sure most of you have, all of you might have a computer when you're logged on. So you have some sort of electronic device, be it a computer, a tablet, or phone. You can log on to Zoom. And I'm sure every one of you at some point in time has come across some problem, be it you can't log in, or you logged in and you're not seeing the video, or you logged in and you cannot hear, or they cannot hear you. But that is technology, okay? You can be sure about one thing. As long as we have technology, computers, phones, tablets, internet, you will always have problems for people to solve with them. So that's why they're saying now, in terms of jobs, one job that will be guaranteed for the, I don't know, for years to come, is jobs dealing with technology. Because persons are always inventing stuff. And when these stuffs are invented, you're going to need to maintain them. And maintaining them means you're going to need persons to be able to do it. Persons with the IT, or information technology, or technology skills to help solve these problems. All the apps that you're using on your phone, they were created by people, by persons who just love technology and they wanted to find an easier way to get something done. Okay? Microsoft wanted to find an easier way to get people to communicate
All
via
right, go ahead and
video.
let me screenshot the word them and then you go for the way more.
Then, for example, they wanted persons to be able to talk using video. So they created Skype. It was Skype at first. And Skype became Skype for Business. Now Skype for Business becomes Microsoft Teams. So there's always going to be something changing. So if I can say to you guys, if any of you love playing around with your phone, playing around with your apps, your tablets, your computers, just trying to see what it can do. If you have a love for technology, stick with it, just play around with it. Of course, you're not going to be able to get everything right at first. Things are going to go wrong. You may start opening something or you say, oh, this is how you do it, and then it goes wrong. The whole thing crashes. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens. That's all a part of learning. It happens. Okay? That's how we learn shorter ways of doing things. So I'm guessing all of you in here love technology. I'm seeing one with the headphones and the mic on. Someone had to remember that. It has to be someone who loves technology. Okay? And don't just think, a lot of persons would say, oh, well, yes, stay in school. Definitely stay in school. You might have some persons say, oh, well, you don't have to stay in school. No, that's not the case. All these apps that you're using on your phone and your tablet, even a Zoom, they were created by persons who know what is called coding. Now, coding is just a way of writing something for your computer to understand it. I can speak to you language-wise just like this, and we can communicate, we can talk with each other just fine. But with a computer, it's different. You have to code it. There's a special code that you write instructions to a computer that you wanted to do. Okay? I wanted to open up Zoom. The creator of Zoom, he couldn't just put it with this person, say Zoom, open. They had to create a code so that when you click on something, the computer recognizes this click means this, and it opens up the Zoom app for you guys. Right? So in terms, close this. So I'd say if you guys love technology, and I'm guessing most of you do, have fun with it, play around with it. Like I say, because I started just watching my older brother open up computers and open up stereos and fixing them. And then when he started his sound business, I liked it. I liked music, so I got into playing music with him, being a DJ for him for his sound system. Then he started videos. So I just jumped on board and started helping him with the videos. And from there, it just grew. So I'd say, find something that you love to do and just stick to it. If you love playing with your computer, you love playing the computer games, you never know, someday you could create your own game. It's just a matter of having the discipline and say, okay, yes, I'm going to do this, and just go and do it. Okay? It's not hard. It's not hard at all. Once you have a loving for it, you can do anything. Okay? That's my quick 2 minutes. I don't know if anyone has any questions, Miss.
Okay, students, remember, if you have any question for Mr. Grant, raise your hand and you will be acknowledged. It's Jordan. Jordan hand is raised. Go ahead, Jordan. Jordan, go ahead with your question.
Teacher, you hear me, teacher?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead with your question.
Sir, what is technology still?
Technology is dealing with electronics. I'm dealing with electronics. Okay, so for example, you think of a DJ at a show or on the radio, they're using technology. The compact disc, they used to use, a lot of used to use vinyl, what they call records before. Now they're using compact discs. The technology is used to play those discs. They use technology to create that disc player. Inside that, that's a laser that reads that disc. And it's technology. It's something that always evolving.
Okay,
Okay?
sir.
And
Sir,
most of it is electronic. Just go ahead.
sir, are you a Google person? Like you answer to people, like do the Google thing? Do you do that?
Oh, no, sir, I don't have time. time to do that. That's a part of being providing support. The support I provide is mostly
Sir,
to persons with the Microsoft 365 account or persons with the EMIS account, our Education Management Information account. But I do help teachers who have problems with their computers. I do help them solve those issues. You may have them coming to me bringing their laptops or saying, Mr. Grant, can you help me out with this? And I help them
Okay,
out with
sir.
that way.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? That's my co-worker in the back of me. Don't watch him. He just can't keep one spot.
um,
Me, sir.
Let's go ahead.
Teacher, sir, how do you know that the computer and or the TV is giving problem, teacher?
But once it's not functioning the way it's supposed to function, you know there's an issue. And now your job or my job would have to be, well, what is the issue? Most of the time it goes by steps. Just like how you teach you, you're writing an essay, you start with your introduction, then you go into your body, which include your plot and everything else. It's the same thing with a computer. It's a process. For example, if I turn on a computer and I want to go onto Microsoft Words, the computer comes on, fine. I see Microsoft Words, I click on it, and it does not open up. Okay, there's a problem. Now I would have to try and track down what is that problem. I start from first, the computer comes on, so it's not a problem with the power. That's not an issue. I'm seeing the Words app, so that's not an issue. But the issue is it will not open. So now I would have to go back into the Microsoft Word application, the back part of it, to figure out why is it not opening. Something is stopping it from opening. Most of the times, it may just be you need to restart the application. It's like a tunnel. Once you start it, it takes it's one direct road. But sometimes
Okay,
it
sir.
turns, and once it turns, there's an issue. You have to try to get it back on that road. I'm seeing hands. Jess? Is there Jess
Excuse me,
Thompson?
sir. Can you fix that?
Go ahead.
Go ahead with the question.
sir, do you work for just one country or you work worldwide?
No, currently I'm just one country, just with the Turks and Caicos Islands government.
Okay, thank you.
That's cool.
You see hand raised. Michaela?
I work worldwide.
My
Michaela?
question is how to become a computer master?
Say again.
How do you become a computer master?
Well, if you want to term the
How do you
computer,
become a computer master?
right? If you want to term the computer master, um, it's just a matter of training. Okay, there are different levels. Just like how you started off with your primary school. Once you graduate primary school, you go to high school. From high school, you go to college, then university. It's different levels of training. So, for example, you may start off first with your introduction to computer science. That gives you the background of how a computer works. It'll take you inside a computer, knowing you the different parts of the computer, which you might have been doing now from primary school. Okay, and then you go on to do different level of certification. You maybe get certified as an IT support professional. That is one certification where you're able to give support to anyone who have issues with a computer. You can give them support in helping solve those issues remotely, which means you don't have to be in that person's home to help them. You can be online and logged into their computer and helping them. Okay, like sometimes I would have to sit at my desk and the teacher could be at home or at school, and I'm able to log into her computer from here and control her computer to try and solve the problem she might be having. Okay, so it's just becoming as you term it, computer master. It's just a matter of training and experience. Once you train, you do an exam, you become certified, you get your certificate or your certification, and you continue on up. There are different levels. There are a lot of levels you can go through.
Okay, we'll take the final question and then, so this is the final question and then we will move on. Final question for Mr. Grant.
Yes, go ahead.
My father is a information technology worker, and will you tell me why when you put
How do
a
you log
magnet,
into a computer?
Say again. There's Josiah.
tell me could you please tell me why when you put a magnet on a device, or it will like turn to different colors?
You're talking when you put it close to the screen.
Yes, sir.
An LCD screen. Because
Yes, sir.
LCD is like some liquid crystals, so they call it liquid diodes, LCD, LED. And the magnet generates a magnetic field. Just like how you push two magnets together, sometimes they attract. If you turn them opposite, they repel. So that same magnetic field, it interferes with that electronic, because remember, your device is also using electricity, generating electricity through those diodes to light them up so that you can see what is happening. So when you put that magnet close to that screen, that magnetic field interferes with electricity going into those diodes, and it creates a distortion. So your screen colors may go out, may look a certain way. But I wouldn't advise doing that too often because it can cause permanent damage. Or even putting a magnet close to your computer, I wouldn't advise that also.
No, sir, I wouldn't do that. I love my devices.
Okay.
And sir, my father is information technology. I want to follow in his footsteps.
Okay, that's good. Believe me, with technology, there's going to always be a demand for persons who do technology. You'll always have persons asking for you to come and do something for them. So if you're thinking about a career, anything dealing with technology, consider it because there'll always be a demand for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Grant. I'm sure that children have garnered a wealth of knowledge in the areas of technology. And at this time, I'm going to invite Leah Heath to do the vote of thanks to you. Leah?
Good morning, students.
Good morning.
Mr. Grant, Education Officer, this afternoon I want to extend thanks to you on behalf of the Anchovy Primary School family. We are grateful that you were able to grace us with your presence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Take care.
One more
Okay, sir. All the best to you. Okay. So we will move on with our next presenter. Our next presenter
Teacher, you're muted.
Miss, you're muted.
Okay, thank you. Good. All right, so we will move on to our next presenter. Our next presenter is Mrs. Deborah McLeod. And I'm going to invite Aliana Williams to come and introduce her. Aliana? Aliana there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, good.
Miss Deborah McLeod, Miss Deborah McLeod, she attended John Hall Age School while living in Jamaica and Bluffton High School in the United States. She is currently in the U.S. Army as a Patriot Launching Station Enhanced Operator 14T and pursuing an associate degree in liberal arts and bachelor's degree in business administration. Please help me welcome Miss Deborah McLeod.
Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, Miss.
Thank you for that introduction, Alea. My name is Deborah McLeod, as she said before. I grew up in Jamaica. I moved to the States at a very, very young age, to me at least. I think I left around when I was in 4th grade. I went to the States. Growing up in Jamaica to me, it was pretty fun, but coming over here and seeing how different it is in the States, you realize that there's a lot of stuff that was missing from your childhood. But to me, I had fun. I was raised properly. I was in the right environment. I had hardworking people around me. So I moved to the States when I was 10, and I finished 4th grade in Jamaica when I went to John All Age School. After that, in the States, I had skipped 5th grade and went straight to 6th grade because the Jamaican educational system was so far ahead that I was already ahead of the kids in 5th grade by the time I get there out of 4th grade. It was very different. The education was a little slower. You had one teacher for every class or every subject that you did. I moved around a lot. I was in Miami, and then I was in Orlando, and then I was in South Carolina where I lived for 5 years. After that, I went to high school. In high school, I've always wanted to do a lot of things in my life. I could not choose a career. Growing up, I wanted to be a model. I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to be a doctor, a teacher. I could not choose a career. And to me, that is okay. You don't have to make that decision right away at all because you're very young. I'm still young. I'm only 20 years old. In the States, the schooling is different. So we don't have the CXC or any of those tests that you guys take to further your career or to choose which career you guys are doing. They actually give you different programs in school that helps you depending on what you're interested in. it helps you choose the programs, help you choose if you want to continue doing that. So in school, I did like teaching. I wanted to be a teacher at one point. So I did this thing called, I forgot what's it called, but in school you go to classes that helps you plan lesson plans, interact with children, how to treat them, how to talk to them. It tells you, they taught me a lot. After that, I was like, that's not for me. You know, I tried, but it was just, I wanted to do more. I wanted to be able to influence people more or to help people. So after that, I went to high school, and in high school, I mostly played sports. Like I did basketball and lacrosse. I was very athletic. And then I was also in the JRTC program, which is a military-based program. When I was in Jamaica, I remember there was a program like that for the police in the school that I went to, and they just, it was, being from Jamaica, it was hard at first to just compromise and try to get that connection, saying, I'm not a citizen yet. It's different. You don't know how they would do in a different country. So I really do appreciate the people that I was around that helped me through that. I remember my colonels, my sergeants, and my teachers. They're very helpful. So I did ROTC in sports, and I also worked a lot. I was very hardworking in high school. By the age of 16, I already had a job, but I was still in high school working and playing sports full time. I was very, what's the word? I was very determined to be successful. I was very headstrong and learning everything that I can, because education is a gift. And a quote that stayed with me since growing up in Jamaica is, education is the key to success. And that's a very, very strong quote that I live by today. I try to learn everything that I can, try to be very intuitive, because you never know what's going to happen. So in high school, I then became interested in sciences. I've always loved math, but science was always a challenge for me. So I've always been interested in it. I did mostly chemistry and biology. At first, to move on to college, I wanted to major in chemistry. And I started that in 11th grade, where I did regular chemistry, and then 12th grade, where I did college course chemistry. It's very different there. They allow you to do college courses in high school. In high school, it was very diverse, because there's different people in the world. There you have white, Black, Asian, Hispanics. It's very diverse, and it teaches you a lot. And everybody loves Jamaicans. So where you go, not everywhere you go, but most of the places you go in the world, you will be loved, because they love our island and they love our heritage and what we represent. After high school, I decided I wanted to join the military, because to me, it was an opportunity to give me the option to choose different careers, and I can pursue any career that I want. In the military right now, I'm in the US Army. I'm a 14 Tango, and I am a specialist. That's just the ranking system. So in your terms, I'm a soldier, basically. It's hard to be a soldier in the military. It was hard at first, but from a different country and being female, but it works out if you really put your mind to it. in school, they put me in a lot of language classes to fix my English, which you can see. It's not that I lost my accent, I still have my accent, but since I'm talking to you guys, I prefer to talk in English. So in the military, I joined 2 years ago. I've lived in South Carolina, and then I moved to different states, and I went to a different country that's close to China and Korea. So I got to travel a lot. And in the military, you find a lot of other Jamaicans with them. Like, we're all over the place, and it's so beautiful. And I think it's amazing to have an open mind and to be able to know that you're not limited to what you're given in the beginning of your life. There's a big world out there. You guys can do whatever you put your mind to. So don't let where you come from or how you grew up limit your dreams, because you can definitely do it if you put your mind to it. All you have to do is be hardworking and determined to get what you want. So I'm a 14 Tango, which is a Patriot, which is a Patriot Launcher Station Enhancer Operator. Basically, I deal with missiles. So if you guys do sports like football or basketball, I'm what you would consider for the US defense. So I would protect them from incoming missiles from different countries if there is a war. During the military, it was very hard at the beginning because they put you through a lot of trials that you have to do and a lot of physical work that you have to do, and mentally and physically. In basic training, which is our training to be a soldier, it goes on for 2 months when you don't have any contact with the outside world. You don't have any internet, no music, no TV. All you have is probably a book that you brought with you. It was very, very rough, especially being a female, because you have to work extra hard. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but you still have to work extra hard to achieve your goals and to be at the right physical standard that you have to be. I remember one time in basic, it was so hard. It was me and this other Jamaican girl, and we were just talking about our lives back in Jamaica and how it's about to change. And growing up, you just think about it. There's a lot you can do. Do you have a question, Jonathan? He looked like he was raising his hand.
Take it at the end, Mrs. McLeod. We'll take it. All questions, students, we'll take them at the end.
Okay. Sorry. After basic training, they send you to school. They send you to learn their job. This is where I learned the equipment that I work with, the missiles. They teach you how to drive, like they reteach you how to drive. They teach you how to talk to people. They teach you how to present yourself. They teach you how to conduct yourself in a very professional manner. It takes a lot of oomph or girth to continue doing what you're doing in the military. By that, I mean, it takes a lot of headstrong. You have to be very determined to succeed. And you should always have that girth in any career that you choose. Right now, I am majoring in business management and liberal arts. That's in college and in the Upper University of Iowa. It's the online college, so I don't really have to be at college or be in school. I can just do it online and still work and make my money. One thing that I would say to you guys is to always keep your family close and to have good friends there to support you, because in these times, especially these times, it's hard. You see a lot of stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff happening in the world that you can't control, and you won't be able to control most of it. So you have to keep a very positive attitude towards the world, even though you know it's still bad out there. In my experience in life so far, I know that having my family there is very important. My grandparents was a very big influence on me. They helped raise me with my mom and my aunts. And I come from a house with a very strong female presence and a strong male presence as well. My grandma is a vendor, and my grandpa was a farmer and a butcher. So growing up, I liked to be outside. I was always outside. I never liked to stay inside and read. I remember my grandma would always like yell at me to come in the house and read before I got outside, or when I come from school to go do my homework, and I would not want to because I want to go outside and I want to go play with my friends or go see what my grandpa is doing us in the farm or in the shed. He could be like doing the bananas or, cleaning chickens. So I know that I was never a book person, and you don't have to be. But when you grow up, you come to like reading. I've come to like reading and understanding the world and just learning. No matter where you go, always ask questions. Always. Questions is important. Don't matter what anybody tell you, the naysayers, always ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. If it's to help you understand something, it can help save your life or put you in a different position that you were before. Always ask questions. And back home, I always try to visit because I love going home. I love seeing my family. I love seeing my friends. I'm still the same way. I'm always outside, Jamaica has made a big influence on my life so far. It shows me you have to be diverse and you have to be strong. So knowing the background that you come from, it gives you pride and strength in moving on, because some of the stuff that you see, it's very real. My favorite quote that I want to leave you guys with is, don't lose that little spark of madness, because you can't lose yourself. You can't lose what made you the person that you are today. And in any career that you guys choose, and no matter what you guys do, you should always be yourself. Always come with a positive attitude and work hard. If you guys have any questions, just let me know and I'll answer them. Did I see a hand?
Okay, so we'll take our questions now. Jonathan Reed, your hand is raised. You can go ahead with your question.
Are you still a soldier?
Yes, I'm still a soldier. Right now it's hard to go to work because of COVID, but I still do go to work. I'm also pregnant, so I'm carrying 2 little babies. So they don't.
Are you carrying twins?
Yes.
I actually scared when you say something that is in our military.
Sorry?
Well, I was saying if you were scared when you were in the military.
As I said before, I was a very outside person, so I wasn't scared of getting hurt. I wasn't scared of bumps and bruises. The only thing I was scared about was the part where they like say that you get injected with chips and stuff like that, but it's not true. They don't do that to you. It's a very good program to me. because it helps you determine what you want. Because in the military, every job that you see out there, there's a job in the military. There's teachers in the military, doctors, lawyers. So it doesn't matter if you do it in the civilian world or not, you're still going to be a soldier at first. And then afterwards, you can choose any career that you want to do. And what I like the most is that it doesn't matter when you choose to do it, because they're going to help you achieve that no matter what, because you already put your body and you already gave them your body, your physical body to help and to do their job that they wanted you to do. So afterwards, they really help you. So I'm not scared of it. There's a lot of people that are scared. So, but don't be. It's hard and you have to work hard for it, which I think is basically any job out there. So it's not something that you should be scared of. Yes, I don't see your name, but I see your hand raised.
Josiah?
It's a website.
Yes, miss. At which age you have started being a soldier?
Sorry, repeat again.
At which age you start being a soldier?
I signed up for the military when I was 17. My mom signed the papers because I told her this is what I really wanted to do. And 17. It's been 2 years or 3 years since then. I immediately, a month later, I turned 18, but I signed up at the age of 17. My family was very supportive about what I choose to do with my life. They know that no matter what I do, I'm going to do it and I'm going to succeed at it because that's just how I am. I don't have to be perfect, and I'm not perfect. Like I don't go with, I'm always a go with the flow type of person. So my career choices do differentiate and it changes all the time. Jonathan, did you have another question? Oh, sorry, I see her hand. Let's see. Who else? You guys have no more questions?
DeAndre Lamy.
Me, miss.
Me. Teacher.
Me, teacher.
Go ahead.
Miss, do you go on any missions?
Say it again.
Do you go on any missions?
Missions. So yes, as soon as I finished my work school, which is where they taught us how to do our job, they sent me on a mission to the other side of the country, to this island called Guam, which is just a small island like Jamaica. It's actually a territory of the United States. There, we just protect the little island from North Korea and China. We were just there to protect. It was a really nice island though. They have Jamaican culture there. Like there, we were very big all over the world. And I realized that when I went to that island, because this island, I had no idea where it was. It's in the middle of the Pacific, somewhere close to Korea. And when you get there, they have Jamaican food and Jamaican people walking around. So we're all over the place. So you can end up anywhere in the future if you put your mind to it, and anywhere you want to go. So just work towards it. It was a really cool mission and I enjoyed it a lot. It's very beautiful there. Any other questions?
Me, teacher.
Yes,
Me,
miss.
teacher.
Jesse Thompson, go ahead. If your hand is not raised, students, we can't take your question. Jesse Thompson's hand is raised, and then Rihanna Gray.
Yes, Jesse.
Earlier, you said, good morning. You said that you are pregnant and you go to online college. Is it hard doing all those in the military, pregnant and doing online college? Is it hard? Challenging.
So being pregnant in the military, they give us a lot of benefits. So for me, I'm currently working from home because my job takes a lot of physical strength, and being pregnant, I'm not able to do it. So I'm currently working from home. That's why I'm in my comfy clothes right now. Um, Online schooling, they allow you to do school no matter the time of the year, or no matter what you're doing or what you have going on. They do allow you to do it. They give you the time. So if I was going to school, like a regular school that I have to go there and take the classes inside the classroom, I would go to work from 9 to 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. to 7 for working out, which is PT. And then from 9 to lunchtime, which is to 1, I would have to be at work. And then afterwards, I can go to class. I can go take care of family business. Sometimes I can go to appointments. Any type of thing that I have to take care of in my personal time can be done after lunch. But you have to be able to tell your sergeants that, or your higher, like I guess my teachers. Who said? But other than that, they do allow you to do it. They give me so until I have my kids, they give me 6 months after that to recover from my from giving birth. So it gives me time to heal, and then time to get back in shape to be able to do my job again, because it takes a lot of working out, a lot of running, a lot of it's to me it's fun because I like physical activity and I like to work out. So yeah. Someone else asked a question. It's gonna ask a question.
All right,
Miss
Rihanna, go ahead.
What do you love about military work?
What I love about it is the diversity, which is basically how different everybody is. Because there's people from all over the world that you see there. Like I've met people that's from Germany, Italy, Russia. They share their cultures with you, and they don't hesitate to like educate you in what's different in the world. That's what I love the most. And at the same time, you do get to travel and meet and experience different cultures.
Okay, Miss, thank you.
No problem.
All right, Shemari is
Shamari.
next.
Miss, what's your favorite thing to do in the military?
My favorite thing to do is to drive my equipment. So the vehicle that I drive is a big truck. It has missiles on the back of it, and basically I have to take care of that equipment. The truck is, you guys know, like the big four-wheelers, those big trucks.
Yes, Miss.
That's what I get to drive on a daily when I was at work, at least.
The armor one, the metallic.
The good on top of.
Say it again.
I was saying if you get the armored.
Yes, the armored vehicles. Yeah, those ones too.
And Miss, are they bulletproof?
Huh?
Are they bulletproof?
Bulletproof. Some of them are. The armored ones are, but there's the ones that don't have any armor because they don't expect to go out that far. So with my job, I'm not the people that go out to go fight and shoot. I'm the people that stay back to protect. And if the war does come close to us, then I'll be there to help.
Miss, is your job hard?
At first it was hard, but when practice, if you practice something, you get better at it. So it takes practice to get good at it, and that's what we do. We practice a lot. There's a lot of sleepless nights because they have you practicing. I never really slept a lot in the beginning of my life, but I do sleep a lot, but it's takes a lot of practice.
Miss, what kind of war?
Sorry?
Kind of war are you gonna fight?
What kind of war? Um, so I was just saying before, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and you just have to with the states, they're very alert about it. So there's different countries out there that wants to arm the US, and not what the people do, but for what the government do, or like they just don't like our way of living, for people to have freedom and for women to have rights. Like it's different stuff that other countries don't like about us. So they try to take control of us, and they think it's wrong, but it's not wrong. Well, some people do, but it's just a precaution. So it's just to keep us safe in case anybody tries to harm anyone.
All right, Aliana, go ahead.
What age did you go into the military, and was it hard going into the military at that age?
So going into the military, I was 17. I was at basic at the age of 18. It was very hard at first because, people underestimate you because you're young. So, but never let age is just a number, and never let anybody tell you what you can't and can't do because you're young. Um, you can learn a lot from being young, and there's a lot of wise young people out there. So it was hard at first, but after a while, people get used to you and see how hardworking you are, and see that you're really serious about what you're doing. And for me, that's what happened. After being there for a little bit, I got promoted, and which is just saying I got to another rank very quickly and easily because of how hardworking I was. And it doesn't matter what age you are in the military. You can, as long as you sign that paper, it doesn't matter if you're 35 or it doesn't matter if you're 18, you guys are still doing the same jobs, and you get the same amount of respect as they would. And you have to give the same amount of respect. So age is not a big factor in it, but it was hard at first.
Okay, Jordan Williams, go ahead.
Um, Miss, why do you want to become a soldier?
I wanted to become a soldier because, as I said before, I tried to be a teacher, and I was like, I wanted to do more, and I couldn't do the stay inside and be around a desk because that's just not me. So I'm more of an outside person. Like I'll be climbing trees, I'll be in the dirt. I like to go camping. I love animals. I'm always out there. I'm not scared of any bugs at all. None. I'm not scared of snakes, spiders, nothing. Um, so, and in the military, it gives you an option to either keep to either be inside or outside, and my job's outside. Joshua Dotson, go ahead.
Okay, teacher, you're a strong person. You're not afraid of anything.
Not anything that most people are afraid of. Like I'm not afraid of heights or animals. Um, and I guess I guess I'm a little strong. Joshua.
DeAndre.
Oh.
Go ahead, DeAndre. All right, Travis. Go ahead, DeAndre. Go ahead.
Miss, do you ever work for a position in the military?
Yes, you have to work. There's different steps in climbing the ranks and becoming. When you go up in different ranks, you get more responsibility and more pay. Um, you have to work hard. Like there's a physical test. There's always a physical test, and it's all about being the best, which sometimes I do not agree with, but it's just how the system is. And it also takes a lot of like smarts they go from your college. So right now I'm in college and I'm still working on stuff. So it's your physical and mental and how smart you are. And from that, they and how well you do your job. From that, that's how they do it. So yeah, it does.
All right, Travis Davis, go ahead. Travis, go ahead.
Teacher, why do you want to be in the military at first?
At first, I was very keen on responsibility and being respectful and being disciplined growing up. I mean, at a young age, I wasn't, but once I get to like middle school and high school, I really did like I was I wasn't a good at tushu, but like I really do emphasize on those traits: responsibility, respect, and what's the other word that I say? Discipline. I was very keen on discipline. I didn't like being rude to elders. I didn't like um, people that don't have manners. I like there's time and place for everything. So I really like the system that they had and the rules, and I like the it's not the control, but just the knowing knowing just those traits. I wanted to strengthen my responsibility, my respect, and my discipline. So that's why I like the military, because going in at a very young age, it teaches you how to be responsible and respectful, and it teaches you how to be disciplined and be able to control your emotions and how you react to stuff. So I wanted to strengthen those traits in myself. So it really did help a lot.
All
Next.
right, Simoya. Go ahead, Simoya. Simoya.
What age can anybody join the military?
Sorry. Say it again.
What age can anybody join the military?
What did she say?
She's asking at what age can you join the military? What's the youngest age?
The youngest age you can join is 17 with your parents' consent, which is what I did with my mom. I didn't join the military right out of high school. I had finished high school a year early, so I did have a chance to, be a young adult and to see what the world is like, going to college. I went to college for a little bit before I joined, and I also had a full-time job. But the youngest age that you can join is 17, and then the oldest age that you can join is 35. After 35, you cannot join the military, but you can stay in after that till you're like old.
All right, Dimitri, go ahead. Dimitri is not here anymore. Michaela, go ahead, Michaela.
Is skydiving a part of the military training?
Is skydiving? Is
Yes,
skydiving? So yes, there's a program that you can do depending on your job. It's called air assault, and in that one you do skydive. If you're scared of heights, I would not do it, but that's another thing. That's something that I want to pursue in my career. So after I have my kids and I get back to work, I'm gonna try to go to the air assault for my equipment. So yes, skydiving is a part of it. You don't have to do it, and they don't force you to do it. It's your choice, and it's basically it's your choice if you want to do it or not. Is that Abigail?
All right, so Josiah is going to go and he'll be the last person. Go ahead, Josiah.
Yes, he's been waiting.
Do they decide does the military decide where you go, like in your position, like if you go out on the field or be their engineer or something?
So in the military, when you first join, after you finish the school, your first mission, they will decide for you where you go. Like they send me to Guam. But after that, which I get to choose where I want to be, depending on where my job is located or where my jobs are located. So for me, my jobs are located in Korea, Japan, Texas, and North Carolina. For me, I chose Texas because it's right there. It's a big city, and I'm right there. And also is another part that's Oklahoma. So they get you as close to where you want to be as possible. Um, it's it's only depends on the like the if it's important or not, or if they have something else for you to do. So they do um help you with your wishes, and they try to give you what you want as much as possible. But if the mission says that you need to go somewhere and you want to go somewhere else, you're going to go where the mission says you have to go. So it's a kind of a iffy situation, but most of the time, for the time being, they do choose where you do choose where you want to go. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Miss McLeod. So on behalf of the Anchovy Primary School family, it is indeed a pleasure to have you come in and sharing with us today in our virtual Careers Day 2021. It is indeed a wealth of knowledge, and we are inspired by your story, I believe. And so you have encouraged the children to work hard, put their minds to it, and to be positive. Thank you so much, Mrs. McClure. And we want to wish you all the best in your endeavors. God bless you.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it a lot. I love kids, so I appreciate you guys listening to my little story. Um, Stay good. Do your homework.
Okay. All right. Take care. Okay, Mrs. Walters. So I'll turn over to you now.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Smith. Thank you so much for leading us through this day. It was a packed afternoon, students. I hope that you have jot down some information. I hope that you would have garnered some information that can further guide you into choosing the career path that you want to be a part of. It's a wealth of knowledge, and if you realize we had persons across different career fields, we had persons in security, we had persons in health, we had persons in technology, persons in law. So it's a wide range of options that you would have been given today. And we hope that you have garnered some well-needed information as you make your career choices. We are going to wrap up right here today. It's our final day of our Careers Day. It was over 3 days. Grades 1 to 3 went on Wednesday. Group 1 went yesterday, and you are here today. I know a lot of you who were here yesterday are back today, and so you would have gotten something like a double whopper at Burger King because you got 2 days packed of activities and presentations with a lot of information that is well needed. And so again, I want to thank Mrs. Smith for the way in which you chair the program. Mrs. Smith, we are grateful for you and how you took us through the day. Just want to say publicly thanks to all our presenters. Thank you to Miss Deborah Dawes, who started out the day. And we had Miss Nurse Campbell, who came in with her video clipping as well. And we had Miss Tamika Grant our attorney at law who came in and told us about law. We want to say thanks to Mr. Eugene Grant from the Ministry of Education, Turks and Caicos, for telling us about ICT, technology, and how it is important in our education system and in our world at large. And last but certainly not least, we want to say thanks to Ms. Deborah McLeod. I have to get used to saying McLeod. Thanks to you, Mrs. McLeod, for coming in and sharing. I know our students were inspired today by all the presentations. We had a lot of questions today. We had to cut off a lot of them students. We're sorry, but because we're working with time, so we had to cut your questions. But we promise you that as we move into our next Careers Day next year, we'll try to get persons from these career fields to come in, and so you can ask more questions. All right, we are aware that some of you are using your data, and so we don't want to have you too long, and so we had to cut some of the questions. But just want to say to our presenters, we want to say thank you so much for coming in and sharing. Thanks to all the students who stayed on. Some students left, some students stayed. We want to say thank you. We have persons who are viewing on YouTube as well. We want to say thank you. And for those of you who plan to watch it later on, we want to say thank you as well. Big thank you to our principal, Mrs. Mitchell. We are truly grateful for her leadership and support and the way in which she have really supported all our activities from the guidance department. And we want to say thank you. Thanks to Mrs. Willocks, who is around, who supported as well. And a big thanks to Mrs. Calvin Williams, Miss Scott, and the persons from the technology team who really stayed on and steered the technology so that we were able to have a success over the past 3 days. Students, thank you again. And as you go, remember, I need the booklets on Monday and Tuesday. Remember to write your goals down. Know that you would have gotten an idea of the career that you want to go in based on the presentations. Now is the time to start working hard on your language arts, working hard on your math, working hard in social studies, and working hard on your PEP exams. Remember, COVID cannot stop Anchovy Primary School students from reaching the top and being successful. And so we want to say thanks to you. Continue working hard. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Remember to sanitize. Remember to wear your mask. And remember to distance yourself as best as possible. Thank you. Thank you so much. And have a good day, everybody. All right.
Thank you, Mrs. Watt.
All right.
All the best. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Miss. Bye. Booklet is ready.
Zidane.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye, Celine.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye. Bye, Miss Liam. We love you. Bye. Bye, teacher.
Bye, Miss.
Bye, Miss Liam. Bye, Miss Liam. Although naman,